Hello. Hey, Tuan. I'm not sure who else is on the stream, but thanks for waiting and apologies for the delay. I had I had to put the kids to bed and they were a little bit reluctant to go, so it was a bit of a mission. Um, yeah, different subjects today. It's not it's not gonna be about me and my experience, or I would say it is an experience that I can share with person who is not with us anymore. So I'd like to actually first dedicate a brief moment of focus and silence to a person with the first name Kyle. He recently passed away. I must say, frankly, he took his own life, which is the part that makes this very important. He left a note and he left a message for his family to learn, but because his brother shared part of his note with me, it makes perfect sense to speak about it to a wider audience as well. So, and before I speak, I would also like to focus and dedicate a moment of silence for, sorry, it's his brother just asking me, so this might pop a little bit off because I don't have another way to back this up. All right, I'm back. So I just had to reply to Kyle's brother that I'm actually in live now. So yeah, if I could say anything to Kyle, either right now or before he left, is that he was right. In the note that he left a very, very important part of it. He said quite a few things, but the one that touched me the most, and not for my personal reasons, it touched me because he was right. He said, I wish there would be someone to realize the importance of community. And that hits hard. Kyle and myself were the two kind of people who may have lived a life on the surface really successful. Made it all, had it all. A lot of people would have said they can't see anything wrong with us, which was true. There wasn't much wrong, but neither of us were perfect people either. When I read Kyle's note, it was clear that he was a very loyal, very dedicated father. He definitely loved his daughter. He had a good friend to which he looks up to, but clearly he wasn't able to open up. And there is a point where he mentioned in the note men's mental health awareness. I'm not exactly the kind of guy to say only men suffer, or all women are the same, or all men are the same. Quite on the contrary, I think we don't even know how much we are alike, in a sense that our needs to be seen, to be heard, to be validated, to be felt, to belong, are all the same. They don't really depend any different on the gender or the culture, the language, the religion, whatever it is. But there is something these days in this society today, and has been prevalent for a very long time. And I think it doesn't have to do with anything like the way women behave these days. I think the way they behave these days, it's just a reaction to the way things were before. And it's a part of this oddly machistic society, not patriarchic, machistic. Because patriarchy in itself is like you have some kind of sense of fatherhood, which means, at least I see certain parts of patriarchy as a healthy dynamic. You know, in a sense, like if I had a father I could look up to, I'm pretty sure I would not fall for certain traps of introjecting and projecting onto other people all the best and all the problems that I had. And then, what is the part of the matriarchy or the female roles? That's hard to answer because, you know, I think women are the ones who know their role better than we do. But when it comes to healthy women, I'd say I would take their advice and listen to them. Hi, Tuan. To answer your question, why did Kyle take his own life? Because he was on a very similar journey that I was. But reading from his note and talking to this really good friend of mine, Kyle was unaware that there is a way out. There's stuff you can do to learn more about yourself. I think the biggest problem we all fall for, and the trap, is like first thinking there is something wrong with you, and then that you have to fix it for whatever the cost. So it's like digging a hole either down or up, and not seeing that there's maybe also a different level of just being who you are, and trying to understand why you are like that in the first place, and then improve upon that picture. So I think it's what's killing people in society these days in general is the toxic positivity, the unrealistic expectations that everything has to be perfect, that we always have to be happy, that we always have to be positive, that we always have to make others smile. I've recently started delving a little bit into the, let's say, back into the date, back. I never dated. So I'm like, yeah, what can I do? Dating apps. And you can quickly see the level of expectations people have towards themselves and towards others. I wouldn't say Kyle took his own life per se. What pushed him over the edge to commit that act, to give up on himself, because that is a problem that most men are suffering from and they don't even see it. It's abandonment. It's a sort of abandonment attachment disorder. And it's not the fact that only we get abandoned. We get told not to cry. We get told to man up. We get told to suck it up. We get told to not be so emotional. We get told that we need to be hard. So we normalize not talking to our friends. We normalize accepting shame and guilt from our own mother. We normalize accepting shame and guilt from our own family. It's really hard. I think that's the part where most people think if a man tries to share their emotions and tries to be open, vulnerable, that they're not worthy and deserving of a title being called a man. There's so much toxicity in our dynamics and relationships going on that we don't even see it. Not for ourselves. Like, I didn't see it where I was toxic at the end of the day because I thought, like, if I can't get out, then I will behave like those people behave to me. And that's wrong because you're gonna end up destroying yourself. You lose your value, you lose your worth, you lose your self-respect, you lose your self-love. You start crushing down your boundaries. You find yourself in a big dark hole and you realize that it was only you who got yourself there. And suddenly, at least in Kyle's own words, he didn't find a way, nor the person, to get out of that hole. It made me realize how lucky I am. Perseverance, survival instinct, a lot of those things. And also the fact that I'm so extremely attached to my kids that I would not let them live a life without a father. I could see the pain in Kyle's note. His love for his kids, his admiration for his friend. So for all those people who never let him down, he was able to be the best person. He was able to give them all the best. But for the people who let him down, for the people who did not care to see him, it's not about understanding, it's about being seen. And that's where it failed. And there is this, his brother was not the person who failed. He knew, he does know what Kyle needed. But the point is, when we are so close in the family ties, it's not gonna work. We've been so used to talking shit to each other. Let's say brothers, sisters, mother, son, father, son. It has to, for each and every one of us, we need to get out of that circle and cycle of repeated patterns. Get a greater distance from all the people that have been seemingly close to us for all our lives, but not really close, not really emotionally available, not really there for us when we needed them the most. And that's what happens. A lot of people would just say, you're overreacting, you're way too sensitive, you're being angry, stop being so depressed, just get out a bit more. They keep giving us unsolicited advice, they keep giving us tips how to get out of shit that they never experienced. And for a man who has realized at some point that with his own self-disrespect, with his own lack of self-love, he created an environment where he allowed a very toxic person to enter his life and remain and continue the destructive pattern. Sooner or later, you come to the point where you go, it was me, I did that. No, of course it was my parents who raised me that way. Of course, it is my friends who abandoned me in their own way. But I am the one. I knew it, I felt it, and I still allowed. This is the problem where we have. All of us men, we keep shaming ourselves, we keep blaming ourselves, and we keep taking all the guilt onto ourselves. I'm not saying you shouldn't be accountable for yourself. I'm not saying you shouldn't take responsibility for the fact that yes, you did open the door, and you are the one who should have shut the door before it was too late. But I didn't know that. It was kind of somewhere around the head the whole time. But we were always told to be good. We were always told to be the best. Even now, I finally had a couple of conversations with these same experts who ruined my life. And they said, you know, you're on the right path. But still, there are gonna be moments when you're gonna have to put on the mask of being the perfect man. Where you're gonna have to play the game. And this is where we fucked up. And this is where Kyle was right. The importance of community. I was talking to another dude today. He got out of a narcissistic relationship after 3.5 years. Did he do it alone? No. He was lucky enough that whatever was going on between him and his partner was seen by his family and his friends. And this family and these friends were actually courageous and brave enough and honest enough to say, what is up with you? You're literally giving everything away. That person is going to destroy you. You are destroying yourself. So my point and my story here and my element here is what we are all forgetting is being honest with each other. When you see your friends suffering, number one, don't tell them to just feel fucking happy. Everything's gonna be better. And completely ignore why they even feel that way. You're not a friend. You're just someone who is hanging on to that person as long as everything is good with them. It's pretty clear. We all need to talk about the difficult stuff. We all need to talk about the pain. We all need to be able to open up. We all need to be able to be vulnerable. And we forgot about it. This whole society, doesn't matter which gender, whatever it is, has become extremely toxic in their own fake positivity. When somebody comes and tells you, I'm fine, please make sure that you call them out on it, especially when their body is not speaking that way. If you see their face going, yeah, I'm fine, well, tell me, what's up? What's on your chest today? I'm here for you, my friend. That's what's missing. The community. Us being there for each other. Us talking to each other. Us expecting that people are just not going to be all right all the time. That's what's missing. Kyle didn't kill himself. All of us allowed him to leave us in a way that's not acceptable for his own life and his kids. He was pointing out so many good points in that sense. He said, I cannot call the hotline. Why can I call the hotline? Because it has gone beyond the level of just being able to talk it out. I am homeless. I'm unable to find a job. I'm unable to feel normal again. I'm unable to get enough of rest. This could be my words or his words. It is correct. The hotline is not going to help. At that moment, when he wrote that note, it was too late for the hotline. Sometimes Each and every one of us, what we can do is first being honest with ourselves. When we actually cannot help ourselves anymore, to reach out to others and tell them, I cannot help myself anymore. I really need help. And the rest of us, when we see someone in need for help, it doesn't matter what you think, how toxic they were, what they did to you before. Did they piss you off? Did they say something bad to you? Did they do something bad? Forget about it already. Deal with it later when things get better and calmer. But at that moment, that person needs you. They need to be seen, they need to be heard. An angry man is a man in a lot of pain. There's no such thing as aggressive people. There's no such thing as people who are extremely just selfish. We are all selfish. We're all mildly narcissistic. We all can do bad stuff. But there's a lot of people who keep judging others before actually looking into themselves. And this is what kills Kyle. This is what was killing me. It's not suicide. It's a destructive society. It's an ignorant society that doesn't give a shit about anyone else but themselves. That's what's killing people. Thinking that either one of us owes something to each other. We don't. I don't owe anything to anyone. In a sense of the people who feel entitled that I should do something for their own happiness. But the people I've borrowed the money from, they helped me they gave me something but expected something in return. That's what I owe. These are the stuff we all need to owe and own our accountability. But when somebody says you're too much, you're too sensitive, you only owe yourself enough to know that you need to walk out of there. And if you really think you can't do it on your own, find someone. If you don't have friends like I didn't have, or family, keep looking. Keep asking. Keep searching. The lesson for Kyle from me would be, you're never stuck. You're never alone. And nothing is completely unfixable. But the message for everyone else who knew Kyle and saw him and still said, he's a man, he can take it. I'll tell you gently, go fuck yourself. And I hope you've learned something from that lesson. All men need to feel human. All men are also gentle. All men are also emotional. All men are also vulnerable. All men only wish to be great fathers. All men only wish to be loved and to love immensely. It's about time we stop the games of stupid Andrew Tate and the games of stupid feminists who don't even understand what is actually feminism all about. We need to end division. We need to end the power dynamic. And we need to communicate more openly. And we need to allow to be communicated with each other even when things get hard. Some people don't know how to respect each other. We gotta give them an opportunity to learn that. Some people don't know how to love each other. We gotta give them an opportunity to learn that. Some people don't know even how to talk to themselves. What else to each other? We gotta give them an opportunity to learn that. And are we gonna learn with this stupid cancel culture? Everyone is wrong and always you're the one that's right? We're not. We're only gonna end up killing more Kyles. And we're only gonna end up killing more of ourselves with any of that. Judging, shaming, guilt tripping. All of that is toxicity. And I don't care who you are, where you come from, what you think, you've done for yourself and everyone else. That's not generosity, it's not empathy. It's you putting yourself on a pedestal and thinking that for some reason, because you've done some good work on this planet, you're better than someone else. Nah, man, what comes out of your ass is still shit. And you are responsible what comes out of here, here, and here. This is how we're all the same. We are equal. But the accountability for how you act and how you react to others is your responsibility. And this is where we need to figure out that this is a community. This is how we build healthy relationships. If we're going to continue to look at each other and just say, it's always going to end up with someone else being unheard, unseen, and dead. So we need to stop asking ourselves, why did Kyle end his own life? We need to ask ourselves, why was Kyle unseen? Why did we leave Kyle alone? Even though he has family, he has friends, and he had everything in life, why could a person like that, hardworking, honest, sincere, and dedicated, devoted, and loyal, why could a person like that still feel completely alone? That's what we need to ask ourselves. And he did leave us a message. Let's focus on the community. Let's focus on each and every one around first before we start serving our own needs. Because I do know it sounds a little bit codependent, but there is a difference between trying to please everyone and being interdependent. I know for a fact that when all of my neighbors have enough of food and enough of clothes and roof above their head, that means that it's not missing for me too. It's called freaking solidarity. It's not socialism. It's called humanism. There is no such fucking ideal on the paper. This is something we need to figure out for ourselves. But Kyle left a note. Please remember how important is all of the community. Your family, your friends, your loved ones, and everyone else who lives nearby you. Think global, act local, and stop killing yourself. Good night, and peace out.